Here we are. We are live. We are live. Sorry for the delay, folks. There is all JJ's fault. It helps to look at your phone so you can see communications that go on between you and other parties. But welcome back to Total Spotfest. I'm JJ. I'm JJ. All right, this is the show. Bye, guys. I don't know what Jamie's feeling a lot better. He's extra frisky tonight. Jamie, JJ, and we have, as you see, special guest coming back with us, Austin Reddick.
That's right. Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, Austin. How you doing, man?
I am doing well, gentlemen. How about yourselves?
I'm feeling way better than last week. I was definitely over
last week.
It was
Jamie was a sick little bunny last week, and he was.
I was committed.
If there's anything you know about us, we are committed to the bit. But yeah, so no, Jamie's feeling a lot better here, and but no, it's great to have you with us here. Austin could be joining us. It might not be every single week, because he does have other stuff that he does, like I don't know, wrestle, plus work and things. But we're gonna try to get him on here. We're gonna talk more about that here in a little bit. But JB, I'm glad you are feeling better. Let me put it
that I am. I'm feeling better, and we officially have our pro wrestling correspondent, Austin Reddick, on the show. I'm geeked. Honestly, I mean, I think we all know why. Jamie's very happy after Dynamite.
There's a couple reasons.
2 reasons. Yes, whatever. Like, I don't even care. We can talk about the Nuggets winning in 5, which they should have won in 4, but whatever. They were just straight dominating the entire
at home, So if anybody follows Austin, which by the way, if you haven't, go follow him at Reddick Rules. What the hell are you doing with your life, right? If you haven't followed Austin, he's got a lot of stuff on there, wrestling, the things that he has coming up. His wife is Heidi Howitzer, so he's has stuff for her as well, retweets and things. But if you followed him, you would have noticed in the past week and a half that his timeline is pretty much nothing but Denver Nuggets.
Absolutely. And I really don't tweet about much else. From the months of whenever they get eliminated, usually, obviously not this year, they finally won it. But yeah, the summer until late October when the season starts again, my Twitter activity goes way down.
There's occasional. I got to retweet this
gifs of old wrestling I find in Nuggets basketball, and then whatever Heidi happens to tweet.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of Nuggets, we don't typically talk sports on this show. That's a lie. We
A
do.
little bit.
But the Nuggets have the best big man, period, since Shaquille O'Neal. And I'll fight anybody who says that. Like, Giannis is different. He's different. He's the freak, but a complete player who changes the game, who's almost a callback to the old way. You got it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been so fun to watch. When we moved to Denver in 2018, we just figured we'd pick one random team to go hard on. And
That's a
the
good
Nuggets
one
had
to
the cheapest season tickets. So we got Nuggets season tickets for 2019.
Yeah.
So we got to like catch this team right as they first started rising.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a fun ride. They also made me like $300 because I put some money on them before the season started.
There's
Whatever.
that too. Most
There you
definitely.
go.
Yeah, not
Everybody's-
sad enough.
Everybody here's happy with it. It's interesting because very rarely will a Tiger and a Jayhawk agree on a thing. But boy, did we sure as hell both happy with it as well. Because a Tiger and a Jayhawk were standing side by side each other holding that trophy. So,
I mean, it's true. I mean, it's the first time a Tiger's ever held anything like that.
okay, stop
But it's
that.
it's
That's
kind of
not
old
true.
hat
That's
for
not
for Jayhawks. It's very old hat for
on
us.
the hardwood, maybe. Okay, well, we're not going down this path. We're talking about wrestling. We have our wrestling correspondent with us. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You can always join the conversation. Leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe, share. If you're watching us live, join in the live chat. We got it pulled up. And
Feeling
don't forget,
spicy tonight.
don't forget, I told you Jamie's feeling better, y'all. Look out. Follow us on Twitter at Total Spotfest. So, all right. Since you're feeling spicy, let's start with CM Punk.
Perfect spot to start. So CM Punk collision happened. But here's the thing, and this is what I've been saying pretty much since Brawl Out. CM Punk equals ratings, right? We've talked about this. They pulled down over 800,000, which was higher, equal or higher to Dynamite.
It was
And they had
around the same, give or take.
And they had they were higher in their key demographic of 18 to 49 or whatever. So he equals ratings. And gentlemen, this is why I want to pose to you. Hot take time. CM Punk is not the problem.
Okay.
The problem of what? Are like
Are you talking
The
about the whole
problem-
elite versus
like
Punk?
the problem with AEW, the
Yes.
problem with
Okay.
the current inflation and economy. Like, be a little bit more specific.
Okay. Well, we're
Yeah,
gonna blame
that was a bit broad,
on-
JP.
Yeah, okay. No, so the issues, the drama in AEW between the Elite and CM Punk, there's been lots of reports, a lot of people talking recently. My hot take, I don't know if I believe it or not at this point, but I just kind of want to see where this takes us. CM Punk's not the problem.
I mean, I would say he's roughly half of the problem.
Bingo.
Like, it seems like a bunch of grown ass men that are just being kind of childish about it, but at the same time, there's clearly no real negative consequences. So like, they can just both be like, fuck that guy to the other side, and just that is what it is.
I mean,
Yeah. At worst, it's this. Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but even
about
that,
it.
like,
the reality is, and I don't know if you guys read the interview before Collision that came on Sports Illustrated with CM Punk or ESPN, whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah.
yeah,
I did. It wasn't anything revolutionary. He had one line there that stuck with me. He talked about, he said, this happens all the time in sports, right? This happened, shit. The year my Blues won the Stanley Cup, when we were at the bottom, when, before January 3rd, when Blues were the worst team in the NHL, two of the players on the team got in a brawl in front of media in the middle of a practice and everything like that, right? It happens, it's a thing. So I agree with that. And to kind of like echo a little bit what Austin was saying there, I think they're equally to blame. I think CM Punk is the bad guy and the leader of the bad guys, but CM Punk's also the good guy and the leader of the good guy. It's like there is no this side or that side. They're both
Yeah.
to blame. They're both being childish about this, right? Because CM Punk gets on TV and he talks about this. He starts off the show. He does all the ranting and raving, and tell me when I'm lying. Okay, cool, right.
That was a great promo, though. I have to give him props. That was.
He will never not do a good promo, and I'll find Amy. No matter how much I dislike CM Punk or whatever, he always does great promos. But he's like, he wants them to come to his door and do all this, and it's like, okay, have you gone to their door though? You say that
He
you're
has.
doing.
He has.
He says he has.
So-
but he also held them up for 3 weeks to try and bring back Ace Steel. So I mean,
Who was already back? But he wanted him live, and
I know.
they finally settled that. He's still get a paycheck.
It's
I will say that it is kind of weird that you just keep hearing from CM Punk. Oh, I tried to talk to him. The Elite just aren't saying anything about it.
Yeah.
They're just all right. We'll be on Wednesdays. You be on Saturday. We'll all just wrestle here, wrestle our friends, and make some money. And
Sure.
he seems to keep pushing it.
it's kind of telling, right?
It's kind of weird. Like I assume he's pushing it, hoping that one day they can do it on TV in the ring and turn this into money for everybody. But it's gonna look real fucking lame if that never happens.
Yeah, he's trying to make it into money, and I'm here for it. And that's the piece that's hitting me right now. He's not the problem because he is already over it, and he's trying to make something out of it now, which is the way you do it in the business that we've all grown to love. You're in it, real heat sells money. Like, let me ask everybody here. Before Matt Hardy had that issue with Edge as a singles competitor, did anybody give a shit about Matt Hardy?
Bro, I still don't give a shit about that. That was largely just a pop, y'all. He's perfectly fine. Has been good at this for a while. I don't know why he's still wrestling.
Broken Matt was amazing. No,
But I do get your point.
They were the flashy spot monkeys in the tag team in the three man tag team division of the Attitude Era. That's all they were.
As soon as Edge stole Lita from him, real life, Shoot stole him. Like they had big time beef, and then they got over and made money, printed money, and it made Edge the rated R superstar that we all know and love today. It did.
Yeah.
That it made him into what he is. Matt didn't go as far, obviously, because Matt's a little bit more limited than Edge. But that's the thing. Real heat makes money. The whole Miss Elizabeth angle back in the day, like the real heat with Miss. Yes, Prince money, and we have these kids who are. I hate to call the Elite kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're all like pushing 40 too.
I know. I'm older than them, so I get to call them kids. But they're acting more childish because they're not willing to go there yet. They're still in their feelings. It's like I appreciate that, but man, just think about the literal millions.
Or we think they are too, because
that's fair.
This could be for the Bucks side. The Bucks could be working us.
Could be. Here's what I would ask. Say that they do work a program and you get a match of Punk versus pretty much anyone from the Elite. Who agrees to lose?
Obviously, they're going to make it where no one loses and something happens.
There's your problem.
You gotta have
unsatisfying finish, or you have to get someone who is involved in all that bullshit to agree to lay down for the other party. That's why I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Oh, but Omega Punk, if you have Omega Punk, that makes millions of dollars. And then you can work it out and say, hey, Omega, you win the first one, and then we're going to rerun this like 6 months later. Punk, you win that one. So everybody gets a win.
But even then, you did it just to now they're tied 1-1. You didn't set like this whole thing started with a literal physical fight in the locker room. If you work it into an angle, you can't blow it off even. That doesn't resolve anything. That's why I don't think they're ever going to touch it, because what do you actually do when the time comes And that's the other thing. What does it'd be a fun payoff to see the match happen, but like what does actually doing that on TV really do for anyone involved outside of like you'll get some eyes for when you have it on there probably, but again, there's probably not a way you can resolve that issue on TV in a way that everyone's be like, oh, that was a cool story. Like that was entertaining. Glad we saw that. The lead up will be cool, and then they'll get in the ring. You'll get a non-decisive finish, and then not you as in you guys specifically, but the millions of Twitter folk will, well, that was stupid. Why was it a double count out or all that bullshit?
I think at the end of the day, though, I think the point you make is the first point you make is probably the best. Punk wasn't the problem, but in the end of the day, Punk does make money. Punk does give you ratings.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's no coincidence that Collision ticket sales were like sold out for Chicago because everybody knew that, and then all the other shows were like nothing. And after the first one, oh, shocker, Toronto's practically sold out, right? And all the other ticket sales have jumped up, right? So
he equals ratings, man.
It's a candy you get down the road because of the way they're setting these things up. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that happened on Dynamite as it relates to that, because they're filling lanes for people that they don't need to address this question yet. Mm-hmm. But you're right, Austin. They at some point they need to. You have to.
I think the longer it goes without having them cross paths on TV, the less people are going to care about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably better for all parties. Like if you got everybody to work together and play along, you could make some great TV with that angle. But these gentlemen clearly just don't like each other, want to work with each other. And there's a limitless roster of other shit you could do with all of them involved. I think if you did do it though, you do one more Punk Hangman match. Like that would be the way to go.
But I want Punk Omega. Like that's the ultimate.
Jimmy wants Punk Omega in London.
Here's my problem with Punk and Omega. Can Punk still have the kind of match where it would actually be a good match with Omega?
I don't think now he could.
I didn't say it was going to be a good match.
I think in 6 months he could get into the shape he needs to be to have a decent enough match with him to make it worthwhile. But right now, no.
But he was also in about as good a shape as he was going to be in when he botched the buckshot lariat twice.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He's looking a little old. That's the only thing that worries me about a Punk Omega match is like I don't think he would do all the stuff Kenny does well. Yeah. So it'd be I think it wouldn't live up to the in-ring wouldn't live up to what you would think it would.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think like I said, I don't think it's going to be a great match at all. It's going to be probably a good match. They could make it where, I don't want to say a dog collar match, but they could put some gimmick behind it so that you could hide his inabilities.
Sure.
But like I would love that blow off. Like that's the one. And then you put Omega over as the guy though, because he is the guy. He's Kenny fucking Omega.
Yeah, that's really what Punk should be, because Punk's gonna draw no matter what. Like he rarely needs to win. Outside of like having pop out there on Dynamite, you got some mid-card heel running their mouth, hit a GTS and take it home in a tight 8. But outside of that, like he should be putting the younger talent over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the rest of the collision was actually pretty good. I did watch all of it live as it happened. It's great seeing Andrade. Oh my God, Andrade and Buddy Matthews. That match.
Oh, that was great pro wrestling.
So good. And they're continuing on with the whole making Andrade face, and they're doing the whole angle with him versus Malachi. They're setting that whole story up, which if anybody knows their history, in-ring history. They're like best friends outside the ring, right?
It's lightning in a bottle every time. Literally lightning in a bottle every time they wrestle.
That's the time to figure out some kind of stakes to put on the line for a best of 7.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, give me 7 straight weeks of those two.
Yeah. Miro back in action was fun to see. Sky Blue
squash match.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It was against Tony Nese, someone who can sell like son of a bitch, you know. So
yeah, that's true.
And this Sky Blue gets a big pop in her hometown. There she getting major push, you know, her and Willow.
She is. She's great. She's my dark horse for the Owen Hart women's tournament.
That would be a pretty solid call. Like that's it should be used to elevate someone. Like you gave it to Britt Baker and Adam Cole last year, and cool, that's understandable, first one. But yeah, it'd be great if it was something that actually elevated someone from the lower card.
Right.
Yeah. It's like King of the Ring. It's like the old King of the Ring.
It's kind of like what I picked for last year's, you know, for my men's and women's thing was that thought. And, you know, I know why they did it the way they did it. I get it, but I'm with you there.
You're a poet and didn't know it.
Oh, I just wanted to see Ruby Soho win. Hey, Ruby, I want to get Ruby to win. She might win it this year. Ruby there. I have a feeling she might win it this year. I'm just saying.
Bro,
I think what makes Ruby endearing as a pro wrestling character, even as a heel, is that she never really wins.
Exactly.
Like she gets close to anything big, she's always gonna lose.
She's like me. She's like me with our pay-per-view picks. Just always loses.
That's why we all love your fan.
All right, can we move on, Jamie?
Yes,
please.
Actually, yes, yes, we can move on because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Hopefully, you're over the age of 16 or 15 or whatever it is, you know, so you can understand these colorful lingual things coming out of our mouths. We have a brand new segment for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have with us a special guest in Austin Reddick, obviously. So we are going to deliver you now Austin Reddick's stash of knowledge.
Thank you for the intro. That was great, gentlemen. I appreciate that. Also, I just want everyone to know that I heard it was going to be called Stash of Knowledge like 5 minutes before we started this, and that is more genius than I ever would have come up with.
You don't want to know how many renditions Jamie ran by before he landed on Stash of Knowledge. He's like, I know it's there. I know I have it. It's right. And then all of a sudden he's like, he actually texted. I think he actually was during work one day. He goes, Stash of Knowledge. And it's like, sorry,
yeah,
Reddick's Roundup. Yeah, no, Stash of Knowledge is it.
Yeah, like I was thinking like Reddick's Roundup, Reddick's Ranch, things like that, and none of it hits as hard as Stash of Knowledge. So yeah, just kudos on that one because that was better than I would have come up with by myself. But yes, I am here to chime in with some bullshit occasionally, bring the perspective of someone who has been in the ring a time or two. I have been doing this shit for about 15 years, and much like my personal idol Terry Funk, I've already retired several times, but still active now. So yeah, I'm glad to be here, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all give me a little bit of an occasional forum for your audience.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
So and that's the great thing is like it's gonna be all over the place. So everything is a work. Oh, I gotta show you something later, Jamie. By the way,
your retirements are a work.
It's a work. It's a work. So yeah. So giving carte blanche here. So that's good fun we're gonna have with that. We do want to talk about Dynamite probably because Jamie's been foaming at the bit for two big reasons to get into the Dynamite. So do you want to start with one of those reasons or do you want to kind of just go through the show?
Oh no, I'm going to savor those.
Heather already knows Heather's already on to us. She knows what's up.
I know that she understands why I'm so giddy. I got 2 Christmas presents on June 21st. So the very first thing I do want to talk about is the ascension of the Guns again.
Okay.
I'm full on a part of the fan club of the Guns. Like you cannot get me off of that now. Those guys, those 2 kids are the future of tag team wrestling. Yeah. I would consider them a pillar now of the tag team wrestling division for them. The
P-word's been thrown out. Look out.
I know. But I mean, their entrance is cold as fuck. They wrestle amazing, and with them potentially being a part of Bullet Club Gold, baby.
They're still nondescript about that. They're still not officially putting them in there, and it's like, just give them the shirts. Give them the shirts. Let's get this over.
Why are we still doing Bullet Club things? Like, this is
it's Bullet Club. I love.
It's gone. It's run its course. It's getting close to like Horace Hogan NWO territory, and no one needs to go there.
I mean, why do we have Sting still around?
Well, because he's an icon.
So's the Bullet Club.
Eh,
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. Okay,
it is a bit of a stretch. Sting is, if you didn't know this, one dude, not an organization that has turned over its entire roster several times, pretty much.
There's variants. We actually had a whole segment we did about a couple months ago talking about the different Bullet Clubs. What was your favorite Bullet? It was on Bullet Club like anniversary day or whatever.
And like this thing pro wrestling does, no matter which company, they don't know when to let something die and just start something new, because you could have the same group of all the same talent and you could call them literally anything you wanted to, and they could act the same way, but it would seem fresh and new. And if the talent's good enough, it'll still get over, instead of being the like seventh iteration.
Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era was Bullet Club.
Yeah.
essentially.
And it was over huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can just steal whatever you want. Just give it a new name. We're tired of seeing.
Oh, but this is gold. This is gold.
Yeah.
Gold.
Do any of them? I guess they're jumping. Do any of them? Wait, yeah. I guess. Are any of them still holding belts right now?
No one in the Bang Bang Club has got gold.
So like,
Bang Bang
then why are you gold?
Bang Bang Gang. Sorry.
Like,
because it's different. I don't know. It's just
It's like Newport, man. Little yellow. Different.
I'm a sucker. I bought the T-shirt. I'm a sucker. I'm in.
I'm waiting for the gold, like the shiny.
He wants
gold
the gold
variant.
LeMay version, right? You know,
Yeah,
the shiny.
I'll buy that one.
Regardless,
so, sorry, man, we're Bullet Club marks. You got to do
a
that.
long time
that's all
Bullet Club
right.
mark. I mean, our whole like shtick we have with the belt titles thing, because it's Faulkner World Order, him and his daughter, and then and I'm the J Money Club, right? So Bullet Club thing. So anyway,
yeah, I like all the talent involved. Just call yourself
something
new.
else.
Especially when they all jumped over here and are now showing up in AEW together. Like, perfect time to call yourself something more.
I mean, they could have gone with something Switchblade themed, right?
Yeah.
Blade Gang or something like that.
Yeah. Tons of options just to freshen it up a little bit and not seem like you're hammering home a gimmick that's been around for a while.
That's fair. It's pretty much dying in New Japan as it is, anyway.
Yeah,
it's over in New Japan. I mean,
time for something new.
They did have.
There's no. So before we I want you to get into it, but there's not even a Bullet Club match this year. Period.
Yeah.
And on Forbidden Door.
No?
Not a one.
Well, you do have an 8-person tag on Collision the night before it, so there's that, right?
That sounds so amazing.
Well, I mean, so this was the time when you had CM Punk run out of the show, right? Gotta get that Chicago pop, right? So he runs out, FTR runs out because all hell breaks loose. Ricky, to Heather's point, jumps out to a 5-on-1 because why not?
Ricky does.
8-person tag on Collision. It feels like Jay White is the current, placeholder for CM Punk's storyline for the time being, which, hey, what we talk about at the top of the show. That's a marquee, right?
Yeah.
Jay White, CM Punk, cool.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, that's the great thing about AEW. They've got a massive roster, most of which you still have yet to see wrestle each other.
Yeah. They do love themselves some 50-50 booking on the same stuff.
Not as much as Vince loved it, but yes.
So the match I wanted to hate but ended up loving so much. The concession stand brawl of Mark Briscoe and Jeff Jarrett.
It was just a shit show. It was fantastic.
I wanted to hate it so much. I wanted to hate it.
Why did you want to hate it so much? Because it was concession stand brawl and like you're shitting on Tupelo or something.
Yeah, well, there's two things. It's a concession stand brawl, so you know it's just gonna be corny as fuck. And then two, it had Jeff Jarrett. And you knew Karen Jarrett was going to make an appearance. That's why. That's why I wanted to hate it. And guess what happened? Karen Jarrett made an appearance.
You couldn't hate it because Jeff Jarrett is that good.
He
Especially
is.
at silly, bullshit, old school kind of stuff like that.
Yes. That's what makes me so bad about it, because I want to hate Jeff Jarrett so much. And we've talked about it so much on this show.
Yep.
But you can't. He's that ex-girlfriend. No matter what, you always took back. Even though she's just treated you like shit so many times, you always took her back. Here you go.
You have to admit, he knows what he's doing. It works out.
The late era WCW, and obviously some of the TNA, but I think more so the late era WCW kind of taints Jeff Jarrett a little too much for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Jeff Jarrett, up until I guess when he left the WWE in the second time around 98 or so, was one of the most entertaining acts they had. Him as a babyface in Tennessee was some of the best babyface work you'll ever see. I can't remember if we talked about this last time I was around, but one of my top 5 heels of all time is long blonde hair country singer Jeff Jarrett. That is the top heel of my fucking childhood right there. The dude can work.
I think we should have a Mount Rushmore of heels that we go over right now. Then.
We may
I'm
talk
down.
about that later.
I'm down.
No. We do this now.
Okay, all right. Damn it. I was like, I gotta get some time to get my thoughts together, but okay.
We can all name one at a time. That
right, cool.
gives us time to think. So he's
Well,
already
also-
said Jeff Jarrett.
We got Jeff Jarrett. Jamie, this is your idea, so you go.
Okay. Top heel of all time for Mount Rushmore for me, easily. WCW Chris Jericho.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Absolutely.
Man of 1,004 holds. Can't beat that. Easy.
There's a bit of layup for me. Everybody knows my feelings about this man. He's been on many of my Mount Rushmores already.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. If you're talking about top heels of all time and you do not have Ric Flair on that conversation, you don't fucking know wrestling. I'm sorry. Old
He's not on
Mid-South NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions. I mean, you know, he revolutionized. He created the over heel, right? It was him. Fucking Ric Flair. Every time.
I am going to keep it in the Horsemen, and I'm taking Arn Anderson next.
Ooh, Arn as a heel was so good.
He's a
Arn-
dirty, he's one of those guys that would just fuck you up.
Arn was such a good heel that even when he was a babyface, you were just waiting for him to turn heel again, but you were just enjoying your brief moment to cheer him for kicking someone's ass who wasn't the guy you liked.
Okay.
Yeah, that's solid. I'm gonna stick in the 80s. I'm gonna stay in the 80s, 70s, 80s as well. And I'm gonna go with the recently late but definitely great Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheik
Ultimate heel.
heat.
Iron Sheik heat, baby. I coined that what, last show or the show before? It was definitely show 4.
2 shows before.
Yeah,
You were dead
when he
last
died.
week.
Yeah, because it's like the level of heat that Don Callis is getting. I called it Iron Sheik heat.
Right.
Like they hate you, but not X-Pac heat. Like X-Pac, they want you off their TV, but he's getting that work heat. Like it's just glorious.
Oh.
That's Iron Sheik heat.
I'm gonna go a little bit newer. And one of the guys I think gets the, I think he does, but he could get. I think that in retrospect down the road, he's gonna get so much more props. But one of the best modern heels, Randy Orton. I mean, wrestling family, grew up. I mean, he's got the skill and all this. It's just the first time you saw him, you knew that that's not a babyface ever, right? He's always looking to just, oh man, I love his work. As much complaints as Jamie as I have had about recent WWE stuff in the past few years, Orton's, when he's healthy, is definitely the consistent. I love him. I would put him up there for sure.
Yeah, Orton, I almost feel bad for Orton because by the time he really figured his heel character out, when he went kind of from just, oh, I'm young and everything was handed to me, to just when he started becoming the legend killer and all that, it was about probably 5 to 6 years past when people really wanted that like old school methodical heel.
Right.
And the work was still great, but you had an entire decade of people saying Randy Orton was boring. When I think like his style 5 or 6 years earlier, people would have hated him for the reason you want people to hate you,
Yeah.
not so much get bored by him.
I think part of it too, because around that same time is when they tried and failed with the whole Cody Rhodes and DiBiase Jr. entitled son heel thing, and people just weren't able to give a shit, right? You know, so they had Orton. They're like, no, we're not going to do that with Orton yet, you know. So
well, and the thing with Cody and Ted at the time too, because obviously Cody just in general looks a lot different now.
right.
At the time, they pushed him as like serious third generation threats, like blue chipper up and comers,
Right.
when they should have been the fucking bumbling disappointment kids of the family.
Oh,
they
so much
just
better.
kind of looked goofy and awkward at the time. Like it would have been hilarious if you've got Orton, who is a bona fide like superstar in the making, just dragging these two knuckleheads around with them, and they're just always like screwing up. Like that's entertainment right there.
Yeah. He's got to deal with the two fuck ups. Yeah.
They basically were time wise, just flip flop. They should have flipped off and around, but okay.
But Orton is a great addition to the list. I am gonna stay in the older school realm just because I think heels used to be much better. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm gonna go with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Oh, that's a great heel.
And that's one I didn't until the last couple years really start watching a lot of older Paul Orndorff stuff, but just phenomenal heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. All right. It's time for Jamie to go a little controversial.
No.
As much as I hate this man, legit X-Pac heat style, he was a great heel for his company, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I mean,
He can't really say no to that because
I'm on board with it. I'm in full agreement on that one. That's a good pick.
you can't.
I
can't.
just,
Like,
you know, I
can't.
think
I hate the man right now. As a father of 4 daughters, yeah, that dude could die right now, and I'd be fine with it.
I don't, it's obviously, you know, it's like, well, yeah, of course. I'm gonna throw it way back. So, people who follow us, they know that, you know, Jamie's got the more penchant for Japanese, and I have a more penchant for luchador, for Mexican wrestling, right? I like the spots. Jamie likes the technical stuff, right? You know, some mixture in between there. And even though this is way before my time, right? But if you've followed up on anything, you know, his man's influences to this day still live. El Santo, the original luchador heel back in the 50s. I mean, this man, it was like publicly #1 throughout all of Mexico and inspired generations of luchadors thereafter. So going way back in time, El
That's a good
Santo
one.
to this day.
That's a solid pick.
I like that
Picking the fourth one's kind of rough because it's got to be made at the exception of like
A
at
bunch.
least a dozen,
30 others, yeah.
at least a dozen other performers. It could easily be.
Right.
I think for my fourth one, I am going to go with 1997 Bret Hart in that brief 6 months before he left with the Hart Foundation. That was
The original
some of
Team
the best
Canada.
heel work
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
That was the best work Bret did in the WWE.
I think that was the best work of his career. And he was so much more interesting. And I enjoyed him as a babyface when I was a kid at the time. But his babyface work, it's just Bret Hart's a better wrestler. He's going to find a way to win, which is cool. And then you see that for a good 3 to 4 years in a row. And now he's out here in a wheelchair, still pretending to be hurt, crying about how Americans hate him, and it's the most entertaining Bret Hart ever was, except when he's shitting on Goldberg. That's always funny too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He still hates Goldberg to this day. Yeah, man. The fourth one for me is difficult. Like, do I go Roddy Piper? Do I go Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man? Like, where do I go? Andre the Giant. You know, like, there's so many great ones. But I would be remiss if I did not have this man on my list. And this is one Shawn Michaels, DX Shawn Michaels, circa 97, 98.
I was wondering, it's like, you got to have that in there. You had Jericho already on there. You got to have
and legit, he edged out Ravishing Rick Rude by this much.
I was contemplating Rude as well.
Rude was fantastic.
So damn good. I mean, he was such a heel, like, he made his body parts blow up because of how much of a heel he was.
Just airbrushing your opponent's face right over your crotch or your tights is just such a masterclass in just being a shitty person. It's great.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, Ravishing Rick Rude was the only time that my mother debated having me stop forbidding me from watching wrestling, right? Most of it she didn't give a shit about, right? And she saw Ravishing Rick Rude, and she's like, okay, you're fine, you know. But she's like, she debated for a second there. She's like, I don't know if she let my son see this guy, because
it's always funny to me thinking back to the Rick Rude early 1990s WWF days that there is a very small list of people that can say they ever pinned the Ultimate Warrior, and Rick Rude and Sergeant Slaughter are randomly two of them. Like you would never have thought of that.
Right.
Never.
The job done.
That is a great bit of information. That is an awesome nugget. That is a stash of knowledge, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm trying to think who else. I'm drawing a blanket. Who else pinned the Ultimate Warrior? I know Rude did.
Hogan did.
I know Slaughter did. Did Hogan?
I'm pretty sure Hogan did. I know Warrior beat him at 6 for the double title.
I didn't think Hogan ever got.
I don't think he did.
Unless it was in WCW in like the late 90s. But
I think he probably did.
I don't, because I think Hogan left for a while after WrestleMania 6.
Oh man,
no, because
legit a thing on here says every wrestler that has beaten the Ultimate Warrior.
Well, you looked that up because I know that it was like he won the title from Hogan at 6. He lost it at SummerSlam to Sergeant Slaughter. And
he lost at the Rumble to Slaughter.
Oh, the Rumble. That's right. To the Rumble. So he held it.
Yeah, because Savage interferes to set up Savage and Warrior.
So they had Slam, and then they had. I think they started the feud at Survivor Series. He lost at the Rumble, and then the next WrestleMania, Hogan beat Slaughter for it at 7.
Yeah, no, Hogan beat Slaughter, but I don't think Hogan ever beat pinned Warrior.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm with you on that too. So I had. Yeah. It's been a few decades, y'all. We're trying. While James,
he's only had 8 losses in WWE.
Ridiculous.
Andre the Giant,
of course.
Dino Bravo, which is kind of amazing. Randy Savage, the Nasty Boys, Sergeant Slaughter, Rick Rude, Ron Bass, and the One Man Gang, and Honky Tonk Man.
Does it say how he lost those?
Oh yeah. So
was he pinned by all those gentlemen?
That's what I'm looking up. So
I loved the old Warrior promos, Heather. Warrior was not a good person.
So Andre sat on for a 3 count.
Okay. I know Rude pinned him. I know Slaughter pinned him.
It was a pin of Dino Bravo was a rare pinfall over Warrior.
I wonder if they were in Montreal.
Yeah, they were. Okay. That was the whole thing. Like,
it doesn't count.
Goes the joke about WB though that you lose in your hometown. This is a rare occurrence.
Montreal, they have to put a French Canadian over.
Oh,
it's a whole different world. Montreal doesn't count. It's its own little pocket.
Montreal, like Canadians themselves, will like, yeah, everything's great. You know, oh, we've been to Montreal. They go, oh, Montreal, right? Even Canadians.
Yeah, like Montreal, like they won't buy tickets if you're not putting French Canadians at the top of the card.
Yeah, it's a different world. All right, so wrap this up here because we're going way too long. Because I have one more to go. And
Oh yeah, you do. Sorry.
that's okay. That's okay. Final one here to put it over. And if you don't like this, I have a way to kind of get out of it. But I thought, I was trying to think. It's like, is there a tag team I would put up there, or tag team? There's a lot of them, and in a way, yes, it's actually more than a tag team. It's the original NWO, the Outsiders, and Hollywood Hogan. That night when Hogan turned heel, the unthinkable happened. They damn near tore down the building.
It's the greatest heel moment probably of all time.
That faction was the originator of the heel faction. I hate to say it to you, that was different than DX, right? That was
wait, the originator of the heel faction. Are we forgetting the Four Horsemen existed?
I'm saying in modern times,
Okay,
right? The Horsemen, because the Horsemen's like
the
Freebirds
were heel for a while.
You actually before that,
Freebirds were
you did have Camp Cornette. Camp Cornette predated the NWO by about 6 months.
Okay, I got you there, but the NWO became the cultural phenomenon. It's what the Bullet Club copied themselves.
Are you implying that Camp Cornette is not a cultural phenomenon?
I'm
Are you saying people don't walk around with shirts of Yokozuna, Davey Boy Smith, and Owen Hart on them?
I am 100% saying that.
I'm only going off on this because I'm currently in the middle of watching through the middle part of 1996. And
so you're at that time, so it's like right in front of your memory.
I'm a few weeks out from In Your House Mind Games, and it's been a little rewatch.
I would argue though that the original turn, because I think it was more because if you want to put it up there, Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan as a person is one of the greatest heels of all time outside the ring, but that was to this day. I mean, it's like, and we know wrestling's scripted, but I still was like, when it was happening, me and my friends could not even fathom it. Is unbelievable. And then 6 months later, we're all wearing NWO shirts, right? Everyone's getting with the bad guys and fuck the system and Rage Against the Machine, and so I'd put the original NWO up there.
I am surprised there was no Jake the Snake Roberts from any of us.
I thought about Jake. I thought about Boss Man too.
I thought about Jake. I think the thing with Jake is, once you saw him as a babyface and he went back to being a heel, you still kind of liked him, even though he was a heel.
Right.
And I mean, that's not to discredit his work, 'cause he's one of the most, being a heel, he was very good at it, but Jake is almost too likable to be an all-time heel.
That's fair.
I'm with you there. He did have.
But I definitely wouldn't fault anyone for throwing him on their top four.
But there's a whole bunch that you could put up there too. To your point, Austin. You had Jake. You had him, Bobby Heenan. I'd argue, even though he wasn't.
I almost went with Bobby Heenan. I did keep it in ring.
Oh,
but yeah, I almost went with Bobby Heenan. Regal is one.
Oh yeah.
But I felt like Regal is a little bit too recent and too much of a layup on a list like this. I like to think back to the more old school classic heels, although Regal's actual heel work is as good as you'd find anywhere.
Our friend Heather has one to add. We're gonna put a fifth face on there, and I agree with that. Sensational Sherry.
Oh yeah, Sherry crossed my mind as well.
We got to put a woman up there, so we're definitely putting Sherry on that.
He's the one who got the boy toy going, of course.
Her, I mean, she was look who she was behind. She was behind her. She was involved with Harlem Heat. Back when they her influence is actually pretty deep. But yeah, she was when I was a kid. She was the heel woman out there.
Yeah, Rena Vachon was the heel woman. Yeah, we could do a heel manager thing.
All right,
so we're blue in the face.
So this is never fully settled, our Mount Rushmore. So we'll come back to this, I'm sure, some other time. Let's get back to Dynamite.
Okay, so let's just go right into the next match that we were at. And this is a match that made Jamie very, very happy.
Really? I can't imagine why.
This was AR Fox, Action Andretti, and Darius Martin going up against Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. First off, anytime I get Minoru Suzuki on my television, that makes Jamie very happy.
Yes, please.
Because there's one thing Jamie likes, and that's Japanese strong style. Yeah, Murder Grandpa. That's a great name. Thank you. But I don't even care about this match. Don't give two shits about this match.
Of course you don't.
Because I got a goddamn Liontamer for a win on national television. Give me some of that.
Imagine if this happens in person. This is what you got to put up with him on the internet after it happens on TV. In person, Jamie might just shit his pants and throw chairs and run around naked. I don't know. Because
I will cry. I will cry.
I liked the match. I thought it was great. I thought AR Fox, I mean, we all know what they could do. I think it's cool they gave Darius a kind of, a step on his own as well. Obvious reasons, right? But, AR Fox looked great. Action Andretti, I think that, none of them are really, they could, both Darius and AR Fox can benefit from, Darius and Action Andretti can benefit from AR Fox's knowledge. And they didn't force feed the whole Sammy breaking up with Jericho storyline in this. So I loved it. And yes, there was a Liontamer for the victory.
Oh yeah, there was.
Never sad about a Liontamer at any point in time. My only thing with this match was you don't get Suzuki often. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to have seen him in a singles match. You've got so many people on your roster that you could have had like the one thing AEW has that WWE will never allow themselves to have, and they're completely different business models, so it is what it is.
Sure.
They can give you a dope-ass dream match you never would have thought you would see in a nice tight little 15 minutes on TV. And especially leading up to the pay-per-view, you've got so many talented workers on your roster, and you got Suzuki in a 6-man tag, which is still fine, but
right.
Give him 10 with literally any of the semi-strong style guys you got on the roster. And I think people would enjoy that more than seeing him in that 6-man tag.
Yeah, I get it. I agree with that actually.
But that's almost come from a selfish place of I just want to see Suzuki in a singles match against half the AEW roster.
Right. I would like to see Darius and Suzuki go at because their interactions were my favorite parts of the match was him standing up to Suzuki and going toe for toe, right? That was great. Afterwards, of course, Sting and Darby come out. They're doing at Forbidden Door 6-man tag. Les Suzuki Gods is what they're calling themselves now. the trio versus them. And they're going to announce on Collision, Sting is, and Darby, who their mystery partner is. So,
and I have theories.
What are your theories? I didn't even. I tried to think, but my brain's.
So I had to think about who has Chris Jericho wrestled in Japan when he did this whole Painmaker thing. Who is not involved in a match right now?
Yep.
So Tetsuya Naito is my number one.
Okay, that's probably Naito.
He makes the most sense to me. If they don't get him, because Tanahashi's already in a match, Okada's already in a match. It's got to be Evil. That's the only other guy who's not in a match. But man, I would love to see Tetsuya Naito.
I think probably Naito, if I had to pick between those two.
Does Naito give you John Cena vibes? Or is it just me? I mean, how much New Japan do you watch?
I was say I don't watch enough New Japan to confirm one way or the other.
Me either.
But now, funny enough, now that you said that, now I'm probably after we're done with this, I'm gonna bring up one of those matches.
You could go looking for the John Cena connection.
Yeah, he doesn't have 3 moves of doom. He has 6 moves of doom, but it's still I get straight John Cena vibes from him. Okay, well, I love him though.
We'll find out Saturday for sure.
Yes. Oh, Heather gives her vague Orange Cassidy vibes.
That's quite a bit different.
Yeah. So they had a quick segment about the Elite getting challenged to a 5-on-5 against the Blackpool Combat Club. Eddie Kingston is going to be a part of that, and then Eddie Kingston is going to announce their partner. I assume on Collision because it didn't happen on the show.
It did happen on the show.
It did. I wasn't paying attention at that time.
Yeah, I thought I saw the graphic.
Yeah, it happened. It happened at the end of the show. We'll get to it.
Well, who is it? Just say it.
It's Ishii.
Oh yeah, Tomohiro Ishii. Yeah,
the whole brawl at the end that led to the other big thing. You were so excited. You were so like overpowered by the final thing of the show. You forgot the 10 minutes ahead of it.
It was more like 3 minutes, but whatever.
Potato.
Yeah, Captain No Neck. Yeah, Tomohiro Ishii.
Stone Pitbull.
Yeah, he is because he has no neck.
Right.
So really quick, while we're talking about the Elite and the Bullet Club, or the Blackpool Combat Club. See, now there's too many damn clubs.
There's a lot of clubs out there. Yeah,
lots
of
clubs.
Clubs. That's why they should have called Bullet Club something. Yeah, you got the BCC and the BCG. Like it's getting a little too close. Now I typically will watch Dynamite the next day while I work because I work from home. And so I'm not always paying like 100% attention. So I'm interested to see y'all's answer to this question. Why are the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite feud?
You want my real answer of like storyline, or do you just want like what I think?
Storyline.
Okay.
Like what is why do they hate each other?
John Moxley. Just picking fights. He's William Wallace in them.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick a fight.
They started picking a fight, and they picked a fight with the Elite, and the Elite fought back.
And this has been going on for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a really good storyline. I have to give them props. It's not Bloodline level, but it's good.
I've enjoyed the segments. I've enjoyed the matches, but I forgot. I was talking to somebody that came up the other day, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't actually know why they're fighting anymore. I mean, I enjoy watching them fight.
I forgot what started this, right? Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like it's been going on for like, how do you keep going after Anarchy in the Arena? After you super kick someone with an exploding J, like, can y'all fight other people, please?
We thought we were sure of it. Jamie and I were dead set that that's going to be the end, right?
And Kota Ibushi was going to show up, but that didn't happen.
Well,
either.
okay. So they're still holding on for Ibushi, probably.
You could still have Mox feud with some of them, and then like let Claudio and Yuta go do some other shit. Like
Ring of Honor.
It's been going on for so long, and that was kind of you had that problem with the Jericho Appreciation Society for a while, like with Ricky Starks, where Ricky Starks beat him, and then spent 2 straight months trying to beat him again for some reason. Jericho's like, "Well, you beat me once, you can't do it again," and then he just kept jumping him for 2 months.
I mean. The real reason, like Jamie was getting at, is that they don't have anywhere to put either one of them logically in a high profile enough place. So you just keep fighting with each other, you know.
And we're back to 50-50 booking.
Hey,
yes.
Adam Cole time, baby.
So yeah, story time with Adam Cole, baby. It was excellent because you got MJF out there, and those two together in a ring is just explosive.
The double shut up Shivani's. I mean,
the double shut up Shivani. Yeah, like the Panama City Playboy.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
I pulled that out of you. So he asked for a rematch. MJF, of course, says no to that. And then Shivani, which we finally figured out what this whole blind tag team tournament is, because they just mentioned it a few times and nothing. So apparently before the segment, they did a whole like raffle thing with RJ City, right? Where they picked 2 names out of there, and those 2 names will be the first tag team, right? They're going to go up to, and you don't know who you're facing and all this. You don't know who you're partnering with, right? So Shivani then gets on the mic and announces that I picked 2 names, and the first name I picked was Adam Cole, and the second name was MJF. And I instantly realized, it's like, oh my God, I love this more than I thought I would. Yes.
So convenient that were the names that were pulled out at random.
I know.
Yeah. So one, you can sign me up for a lethal lottery anytime, any place. Like that's one of my all-time favorite gimmicks. We don't need to jump into another Mount Rushmore right now of our favorite like, booking gimmicks. But yes, I love.
I'm good with it.
I love a good random draw tag team tournament. It's just such fun, different story. Like you're guaranteed to get something different, even if some of it is shit like this. We're like, oh look, these two guys that are feuding. We happen to pull your names out. I like if you're gonna do that, just do a live drawing for the first two in the ring and call them out one at a time. So you draw Adam Cole and he comes out, and then you draw MJF in front of the like do it in front of the crowd. So they all know it's a work, but why go through the extra step of having them out fighting and be like, oh, look what I happen to have in my pocket. It's both of you together.
Well, I mean, obviously it's to continue the storyline on because they're drawing this out to be like the main event in London. Obviously, right? You know, which is cool because I mean, he had the whole shtick of it. You know, Adam Cole goads MJF into accepting Tanahashi because Tanahashi comes on the video board, right? And then after he leaves, it's like, don't worry, I got faith in you, faith in you, partner, right? You know, so it's like that's the part that's like, oh yes, the interaction between these two because. Just the double Shivani's, right? The Shub Shivani's. They're very similar. And it's like, ooh, okay, yes.
So picture this, guys. Okay.
He's back.
We have two guys who hate each other, and we're going to make them tag together. We're going to call them the Mega Powers. That's what Mega Power vibes. The Mega Power vibes.
It is the Mega Powers, yes.
But the Mega Powers at first didn't hate each other.
The second iteration of Mega Powers did.
Yeah. Speaking of two guys who hate each other and they're going to tag together, one of the few times in the history that actually worked and was interesting, Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold in the summer of '97. That was phenomenal.
I mean, two of the best workers. Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over tournament brackets now, or do you want to do that later?
Let's do that at the end, because
I got them pulled up. I got them handy, so whenever you're ready, yeah.
Oh no, just go for it. Let's just go for it.
All right,
go for it.
So they announced the 2 tournament brackets for the Owen Hart tournament, and the men's bracket is actually going to begin. So it's 8-person brackets for both of them. Men's brackets beginning on Forbidden Door, and then a lot of it's going to be on Collision moving forward. It looks like. Okay, so Forbidden Door. This is kind of buried. They kind of sunk this in here, but we know CM Punk's match for Forbidden Door because it's part of the tournament. So it's CM Punk versus Kojima. Okay,
good job. I was waiting for you to murder that.
I was too. And then you have on the other side of that bracket, you have Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe. Yes, please give me that. Put it in my eyeballs right now. Okay. The other side has Dustin Rhodes versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And then a Juice Robinson spending 15 minutes yelling out, Ricky! Because he's facing Ricky Starks again.
Ricky Starks.
All those matches are on June 29th Collision. So that is the men's bracket.
Ricky Starks, call him now. Dub.
I think Ricky Starks, but then again, I just like, God, are they really... You know, because you look at the lineup here and you think you're going to have a CM Punk Samoa Joe second round, right? Oh, there's got to be some wrenches thrown in there.
Yeah, it's Ricky's to win. If they make CM Punk win, like that is the most Bush League thing of all time.
I have a feeling they're going to make CM Punk win.
I just brought up the bracket to re-look at it again, and that does very much seem like CM Punk's gonna win that.
Punk over Hobbs is what I'm calling.
I would at least, if you're gonna put Punk over, I would do Punk and Starks in the main.
Yeah,
I would like.
I think CM Punk is the perfect guy that you don't necessarily have to have him there with like a heel at the end. You could put him there with the babyface. You could have CM Punk play the heel role of it, even if he's not like full on cheating and stuff. And I think you'll get a split crowd in the way that works really well for pro wrestling.
And
Yeah.
I feel that if you're going to have Punk not win this, he would put over Starks.
Absolutely. And
Starks and
He
Hobbs
would
are
do
two
that.
names that he mentioned he wants to see them, elevate, right?
yeah, and I liked, if you are going to have CM Punk lose, Starks is better too, because you can't have Hobbs sneak a win over Punk. And I think Hobbs just cleanly beating Punk. I don't think it does as much for him as people think it would. People would be like, wow, I didn't really expect that, but I don't think that like carries for him. Whereas with the smaller guy like Ricky Starks, you do the old school catch the small package out of nowhere.
Right.
That elevates him. Whereas, yeah, I think people would be kind of pissy about seeing Hobbs just hit his finish and pin him. Outside of people that just hate CM Punk, which is a sizable part of the audience.
Good part. And Hobbs as a heel doesn't need to have that to get bigger scope.
No,
But they put a lot of work already into the long-term arc of Ricky Starks, right? Like,
yeah,
Ricky and MJF is slated for the future. Like, that is like a money maker that they hope to have in a year's time, if Jeff's still here.
Yeah, the bidding war 2024.
yeah.
So that's the
I
men's side.
really hope they put Starks over in that. That seems like a layup to you've already seen you're building a star.
Right.
That's a moment, like that's the perfect guy. Really quick on that though, why is it only 8 people? I know I'm like asking like y'all
I
can call
don't-
Tony Khan and confirm this for me, but like it's only 8 people and Dustin Rhodes is in it, and which I mean I love Dustin, I love he's in AEW, and if it was you've got three weekly shows, you've got hours and hours of weekly TV and all the time in the world you really want to book this thing out.
And
You
get
also have
in-person tickets.
a super saturated roster with all this talent. Do at least a 16-man bracket, but you could do a full 32 and like you've got a fun gimmick for the rest of the summer.
I mean, I would love them to do that, and then basically for the next 2 months, your programming is the tournament.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's the only way NCAA basketball makes money, and they make a lot of it because of the fucking tournament, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's a reason why they're continually wanting to expand it, because the bigger you make it, the more people
That's the one way they make money, right? I mean, they make a little bit otherwise.
Yeah,
not
like
football money.
Tournaments always work because there's instant stakes. There's always something, like every match is now important
Right.
because if you win, you keep going on. And the fact that they don't get used more, I mean, I'm glad that now they have the Owen and but already in year 2, you're downsizing it when this could be a summer long event every year.
Yep, I'm with you. Well, regardless, that's the men's tournament. The women's bracket is starting this Friday on Rampage. Now, they're all over the place, okay, where these are. So this Friday, you got Anna Jay going against Sky Blue.
Sky Blue.
And then the winner of that will face next week on Dynamite. You have a rehash match, but one that I'm excited to see. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby.
Ruby.
And then on Collision this week, you have Nyla Rose going up against Willow Nightingale.
Ooh, Willow.
And then on the 0 hour for Forbidden Door. So we have at least this match for 0 hour. There may add another one to it, but this one's officially announced for 0 hour. Athena going against Billy Starks.
Unfortunately, Athena, but I really want Billy Starks.
I'm just happy to see Billy Starks' name here. Yeah, we just saw her. Was it 2 weeks ago in person? At the Senseless Anarchy in Austin.
I do think Athena's going to win that. I think because like they officially signed Billy, right?
We asked her. Jamie asked her, and she would not.
I asked her. She would not.
Okay, so she hasn't been announced.
Well,
like
she's
all
she's definitely signed. We know that she's signed, but she's just like, I can't say anything one way or the other. It's like, okay.
Because
we know
if you do have her signed, which like I said, I'm pretty sure she is.
Her name is on TV. She's on the pre-show for the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
that's
like
a pretty strong.
Having her almost back to what I was saying about Starks beating Punk. Have her steal a win from Athena, catch catch that cradle out of nowhere. Not only like Athena can lose that match, she can get caught. Her Ring of Honor Women's title isn't on the line.
Right.
But now you have a feud for the Ring of Honor Women's title that you just were able to show people on an event that's going to get a lot more eyes than your regular episode of Ring of Honor. Okay. So, like,
I'm with you.
I don't think they're going to do that, but if I was booking it, Billy Starks would steal a win in the first round.
I would love to see Billy Starks win.
Oh, that'd be huge.
In AEW. That'd be fantastic. I think it's great that she's in the tournament. They put her name up there, advertising it for her. I mean, all indication is that she's definitely signed then. That's my one takeaway. Who you got, Jamie?
Oh, I have Sky Blue as my dark horse, but I would like to see, honestly, a Sky Blue Billy Starks final.
That would be cool. Your fantasy booking a little low, but
yeah.
I think it's going to be. No. I'm calling this, and everybody should not be surprised with my pick whatsoever. I'm calling Ruby over Willow. It fits the storyline. We know they don't deviate from the women's storylines too damn much. And goddamn it, give Ruby something. Let her win something for something.
She doesn't win. That's the thing. That's her thing. That's her gimmick.
But she can win now because she's part of this faction that includes the AEW Women's Champion. I'm calling it Ruby. Ruby's going to win. Hey, Ruby.
Nope. Not happening. Not happening. All right.
We'll know at least next Wednesday if she's moving on.
So let's move on to Jamie's match of the night. Wet dream of a match of the night, by the way, for Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Orange Cassidy and Shibata going against Zack Sabre Jr. and Daniel Garcia. Yes, please.
There was a little bit of wrestling. There's a little bit of technical wrestling in this match.
just a skosh.
A little salt-based sprinkle.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. is a god. Like, what that guy can do in a ring is mind-numbing. Like how technically savvy he is. And then Daniel Garcia too. Like, people like to sleep on Daniel. It's probably because he's wearing pants nowadays, but whatever. And Orange Cassidy's chameleon. He's good at whatever he does.
I find Daniel Garcia much more interesting now that he's doing a silly dance and wearing the pants. Like, he's still wrestling just as well as he always has. But now at least he's doing something entertaining at the same time.
Right.
Like,
he's a terrible talker, so roll with it. Just do something silly. Okay.
And cool. I know that people's tastes may vary, but I've always thought that, like, just being really good at in-ring technical pro wrestling was like one of the least entertaining things you can be. Like, I like to see one of those matches on a card. But aside from that, like, wrestling is, you want a little bit of silliness. You want a little bit of gimmicky kind of stuff. And even he hasn't even changed much. He's literally just wearing pants and doing a silly dance now, but he's showing so much more personality. It just makes him more entertaining and interesting.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So it didn't really matter who won this because they announced afterwards the inevitable 4-way between these men for the international title. Not all titles on the line like Jamie asked for. Winner take all would have been great, but international title, Forbidden Door, run this back with everybody for themselves.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So after this, you had a really strong women's match of Kris Statlander versus Taya Valkyrie. This was a good match. I mean, both of them can go. I did find it funny, though. I happened to Google Brick Shithouse, and it came up with a picture of Kris Statlander.
Did you catch Taya's new entrance?
No, I did not.
New music, new gear, and new Titatron. It's her heel variant, basically.
She's a better heel.
I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. You know, she's one that's like, she's been face before and it's been whatever, but she's a natural born heel.
Yeah, I feel like she just, like, not that long ago showed back up as a face, right?
Yeah, showed up as a face, which is like,
when she debuted, she was a face, right?
But like that was fairly recent, wasn't it? Or
like,
am I losing track of time?
Like maybe no, it wasn't even that long ago. It was like maybe 8 weeks ago.
It was
Yeah,
long
I
ago.
thought it was like, yeah, maybe like March-ish at the earliest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think she is better as a heel, but it's like, yeah, it's weird to have her. It's basically just debuted a feud with Jade for a little while, and then I guess I'm bad now.
and the reason they're turning her heel is obtuse of sorts, because it's like she's mad because she didn't get the victory over Jade, but then Kris got a second chance and got it immediately, and so she's mad at whatever.
Yeah, which is like, it's there's so many times with AEW where it's like you're so close and what you're doing is still plenty entertaining, but
Mhm.
why have her get mad and then want to tire? Like, why not have her still pretending to be a babyface? Be like, hey, I took Jay to the limit. You came and took the title off her right after. How about you give me the next shot? Statlander gives her the shot, and then sucker punch her and turn into a heel during the match, trying to
or
win the
have her
belt.
be a face doing heel things, thinking that
Like,
she's self-serving, and then
yeah, I don't want to get the idea that you're now a heel without like that very visual turn.
I'm with you.
Because yeah, they shot her backstage last week and she was just kind of mean mugging the camera while Statlander was on there. What does that do for her? When you just have her get upset and attack her for some reason, like get a little bit of heat behind
Well,
it
I
instead
think
of
that
like,
therein
oh,
lies
yeah.
the root of the problem, like we've bitched and moaned about quite a bit, is long-term storytelling in the women's division is not an existent thing, right?
No,
They
not
don't
at all.
really know what to do with that. I mean, they have this great lightning in the bottle right now with Sky Blue, and they have Willow, which Willow's luckily double dipping a little bit in New Japan as well, but they're pushing Willow in an appropriate manner, right? Willow's got a match against Toni Storm at Forbidden Door, but that they're not going to do the right thing with Sky. I want them to your point, Jamie, putting her over in the tournament. And like Austin said, you said, prop somebody up. This is your time for Sky Blue to get the title, right? It's what WWE did with Roxy or Roxanne, right? Okay, this is what you do. They're not going to do it though. They're not going to do it.
No, they're probably not. They're probably gonna bury her. Britt Baker or somebody like that's gonna win it again. They're just gonna put a. Well, yeah, I think Ruby's.
I was gonna say, looking at that earlier, I could definitely see Britt losing to Willow in the finals.
Mhm.
I almost see Britt in the finals only because Cole's not in on the other in the men's to defend us from last year, and I think the story of Britt going to the finals and telling it throughout the night that she's trying to throughout the weeks that she's trying to repeat, and then putting someone else over at the end is at least a little bit more interesting than here's a couple weeks of women's matches. One of them's going to win this tournament, and then we're going to ignore it until next year's pops up.
Yeah, excellent point.
But we'll see what they do.
Hope and pray.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll see.
We will see.
I have my inclinations.
Yeah. All right. So we'll end the show.
Oh, before you do that, you skipped over your new favorite person in wrestling, Don Callis, talking to one of my favorite wrestlers, Will Ospreay. A short but brief little promo. Ospreay's getting interviewed by Alex Marvez, and he's talking about all this heat he's getting from Canadians, and of course he does the whole like British thing, British heel, and other countries are such trash and scum and all this stuff. So here comes Don Callis to offer a simple, what do you call it? A simple favor that he always travels when he travels in Toronto with his own personal security. And he's going to give it to Ospreay. And what does he want? Well, he just wants him to beat Kenny Omega. Or we think that's all he wants.
You think Will Ospreay's going to join the Callis family?
I don't know, but they're planting that seed for you.
Yeah, because Will Ospreay's supposed to be becoming a free agent by the end of the year.
Ospreay has his own faction already. Some of them are already in AEW because Aussie Open got signed.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fun to see Callis on TV.
Yeah, Aussie Open, Osprey, and Takeshita with Callis, like that's a fun faction there.
Fun. It's basically United Empire with Takeshita. You call it the Callis family, right?
And I think putting Callis with him's perfect too, because it does give you a little bit more of that old school Carney Pro Wrestling with all these fucking death machines that could just go out there and have just amazing matches.
Yeah. I think so. And it's like, does Ospreay need it? No. But to be completely fair and critical to an American audience,
yes,
I think he would. You know what I'm getting at it,
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Ospreay is one of the most talented pro wrestlers in the world. But you only have so much TV time. You can't go out there and have 40-minute Kenny Omega bangers every week.
Right.
We got to find a way to make you interesting when you're going out there for 10 to 12 on an episode of Dynamite. And again, the other thing with Ospreay is once you start seeing him every week, those awesome banger matches, like you get desensitized to, like after a while, it's too much.
Right.
With Don Callis, and there's a reason to boo him every time he's out there.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. He just stands there. So.
And Callis is the perfect guy too, because someone like Ospreay is another of those ones. Even if he's a heel, you'll boo him to play along a little bit, but you're like, oh, his wrestling's dope. I want to see this guy.
Yeah.
But Callis is just so good at just riling everybody up that he'll get legitimate heat.
Yeah.
Iron Sheik heat, baby.
Iron Sheik. But I feel like that's going to be the play here.
I do too.
All right, heat.
So to wrap this thing up in a bow here, Eddie Kingston did come out. I for some reason completely spaced this off. I don't know why.
I wonder why.
Yeah, so he comes out and then Moxley comes out. Him and Moxley have words, basically like, you decided to say it by them and blah, blah, blah. And then here comes out Tomohiro Ishii, Bite You comes out. And then here are the Blackpool Combat Club and Ishii. They're starting to fight everything. Bryan Danielson gets out there. He gets ready to stomp Ishii in the face. And then we hear a simple but amazing coin drop. And Jamie lost his shit and doesn't remember anything that happened after that.
He murdered. Right? He didn't murder Wheeler Yuta, so there was that.
As he should.
Perfect. You got Okada on your TV to end the show. Him and Danielson do a little stare down
for a coin drop on TV.
I mean, a Liontamer and Okada in the same night.
I know.
And Jeff Jarrett.
And Jeff Jarrett. I mean, it's your birthday, Jamie. Yay.
The only thing that can top this is I get up and the wife's still awake. That's about it.
Well, we have no control over that. So, all right.
I know.
We're set for Forbidden Door now. So they added in a bunch of matches to it, right? So you got Jericho, 6-man tag, going against Sting. It's the long way around to get to Sting, yes, to the Sting Jericho retirement match that Jamie is still predicting. Excuse me, Mark Stradamus is still predicting for London.
Yep.
You got a women's match now. You actually have two because Billy Starks and Athena are going to be on the opener, the pre-show. You've got the 10-man. I was going to say 8-man, but I was like, that's not right. 10-man tag between Elite and Friends. Or Elite and not Friends against Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah, no Bullet Club. No, but CM Punk's going to be there, part of the tournament. The show's stacked. The show is going to be ridiculous. Everybody knows me. Omega Ospreay 2. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see.
Okada Danielson 1 is going to steal the show.
Reddick, what are you excited for Forbidden Door?
Everything that doesn't involve Jungle Boy as a general.
Yes.
Like we were actually Heidi and I were driving back from Houston on Monday, and we were talking about how excited we are for Forbidden Door, and started talking about Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy seems like the nicest dude in the world. Like I'm sure I would love to hang out with him and have a beer or something. Nothing about him being on a pro wrestling show on my TV interests me at all. I understand like when they started the Pillars thing, years ago, them looking to be like, oh, he could be something, but like the dude just does not have a personality on TV. No. And I don't know why he has a match on this show.
Why he has a match? He has an IWGP world title match.
Because even if you were looking for someone from your company to throw out and do the favors in that match, you have so much more talent that
fuck Ricky.
Let Ricky go out there and have a great showing against Sonata. Like that would be perfect.
That's what you should have done.
You've got so many options, and you're throwing fucking Jungle Boy out there. I saw someone on Twitter the other day make the joke about somehow even Luchasaurus won a singles title before he did.
Technically, that's true. Although Christian immediately took that belt from him and is parading around with it. But still, you're right.
I do gotta say though, as far as I think Okada and Danielson is like 1A, but 1B for me is that international championship match.
On the 4-way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the tag match we got tonight was fantastic, but it's like this needs to be a 4-way.
Yeah, that's the entire card just looks phenomenal outside the aforementioned Jungle Boy
Other
match.
than Jungle Boy. I mean, it's MJF Tanahashi. You know, we didn't even talk about MJF Tanahashi. I mean,
that'll just be a solid technical match.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Willow and Toni Storm too.
Yeah,
I love Willow.
I feel like they're gonna go out there and like work nice and stiff for that one.
Well, they've had a couple matches, and then they've gotten about 7-8 minutes, for the couple matches. But now there's some gravitas to it because Willow's a champion too. So I think Willow's card inside of AEW has been elevated, in the past 3 months, which is great.
That's
for her.
another one too. Like I completely understand them not wanting to take the belt off Tony right now. Tony's great, but one, Tony's got the belt because Hayter got hurt. Why not surprise everyone, put it on Willow till Hayter's ready to come back, and let Hayter just beat Willow clean for it when she comes back in like a good pro wrestling match?
Yeah.
You don't really need to keep the belt on Tony. The Outcast thing, like I know that's kind of your major thing going on, but like we've been saying, they don't do long-term storytelling for the women.
Well, Outcasts don't need the belt either to be involved in the main picture. Period.
Yeah. So I would like to see Willow surprise everybody and take the belt there. That'd be a fun little bit of storytelling for a while till Hayter comes back.
It would be fun. It would be fun. And speaking of making picks. So JJ has been consistently getting his ass kicked.
Thank you guys for joining us this week. We're gonna
when we do our pay-per-view picks, mainly because like it is a bit of a handicap match for him because he has to go against 2 members of the Faulkner World Order, me and Megan. So we were wondering if you would like to join in for the prestigious Total Spotfest pay-per-view championship.
Oh, 100%.
All right, you are 100%. In evening the odds. I mean, obviously, you guys are still going against each other, but then it's a 4.
It's a moral victory if Faulkner World Order doesn't win, is what was Jamie saying for me. You might not be part of the J Money Club because of the whole Bullet Club rant you had earlier, but you're not Faulkner World Order, so unless you
enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right, exactly. Unless you turn straight heel and join them, and then I'm just fucked, right?
My God.
Here's the funny thing is, like, first of all, Megan's been doing this to us for years. And before we started the podcast, it was funny in a ha-ha way. Because she would just beat all of us. Me, Jamie, when we had Young Boy, right? All of us. Every time when we were getting together in person and watching these, right? And it's like this, your 14-year-old daughter's killing us, right? And then we started the show here, and she kept doing it. She kept beating the crap out of us. Then Jamie found his loophole. He's like, aha, I know what's up because we're family. We're together. And so ever since then, I always get close too. I'm like,
except for the last one.
No, technically I was only off by 1, but it was the first match was the, okay. If they reordered the matches, it wouldn't matter, but the end count is what I'm talking about, Jamie. I'm always off by.
You were done after the first match. It was the best.
Because we usually differ by like a match or 2. So we'll talk about off stream here. It's very simple. We have a little form that we put up online, and I'll get you access to that. So we basically fill that out by Saturday, and then We'll talk about it post-show. So,
Well, I'll have to tell you about the finger poke of doom situation that I did for Megan. I literally picked all bad picks just to get her to win, just to piss him off. He's like, "Why are you picking these people?"
It worked too. I was not happy. Ever since then, I've been doing creative ways to make this as fair as possible, like hiding my answers and doing stuff. They're like, you can't hide your stuff. You don't get. It's like, no, we're being fair. I don't want you to see my answers. They're there. I'm not going to change them. Anyway, we will have, God willing, a new champion after Sunday. So we will have a post show about approximately half hour after we're done with Forbidden Doors over. Jamie's committed to the bit. If he's committed to the bit, he's going to be in the bathroom in his hotel room. But he's probably just going to be wherever he has the best Wi-Fi signal in his hotel.
Yes, on my phone. I'll be doing it on my phone. Like
he's 100% going to be on his phone. But anyway, so we will definitely be back though for that. We'll be back next week at our regularly scheduled time. Sans Jamie. Try to see if we get a co-host, or it might just be me and Austin doing it. We don't know yet. We don't know what we're doing. So, or excuse me, JJ doesn't know what we're doing. We'll figure it all out later. But definitely gonna be back next week. Talk about the fallout and what the hell they're doing with this 8-person tournament on each side. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Austin, for joining us in this week here and for joining us coming forward with your weekly stash of knowledge.
I appreciate y'all having me, gentlemen. This is a good time. I look forward to forcing my opinions on your listeners.
As do
we. Do it every week, so it's all good.
See, it's sometimes it's less harm. It's less like intrusive. This is not from us because they're used to us by now. But yeah.
Yes. Right. Also, if you're listening to this and you want to ask a pro wrestler a question, tweet at me to @Reddick Rules, and when I chime in on one of these, I'd be happy to answer your questions, however stupid they may be. Those are usually the best ones.
And please give the stupidest questions possible if you're going to do
Heather
that.
does force her opinions back. Heather says, I force my opinions back.
Heather is very much an opinion forcer, yes.
But you know what? We love her opinions because most of the time they're like either with us or they're just slightly off that makes us think. And I appreciate it.
I will say this for any of you watching, either if you're watching us live or you're watching the replay on YouTube here, you see the chat replay. I am slightly disappointed in you, Heather, this week. There is no creative use of the words of the letters C and M in front of Punk's name mentioned.
Oh, she did kind of miss the boat there.
She dropped the bit. Come on, Heather.
if there's anything, we are committed to the bit on the show.
Right. So, Sunday, a half hour-ish after Forbidden Door, and then next week, regularly scheduled time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you giving us some of your time. Make sure you follow Austin if you don't already, and we will see you on the next show. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down to Spotfest, I got 6 words for you. It's Jason.
I didn't hear any words. Those weren't words.
The is a word. It's totally a word.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.